Hello, my fellow concerned friends, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for showing up and watching today's video and supporting me every single time I post. It genuinely means the world to me. And if you're new here, hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. Out of all of these other videos you could have clicked on, you chose mine, and I genuinely appreciate that. I hope that you can stick around and you can get something beneficial from my content today. We're starting off today's video with a little would you rather question specifically aimed at parents, although I am, as always, really interested to know everybody's answers to this question. So here we go. Parents, would you rather take or send your daughter to the men's restroom in public to go to the bathroom? Or would you rather risk having the police called on you because as a dad, you decided it was safest and made the most sense to take your daughter to the women's restroom? Because that is exactly what happened to Tyler Brodsky. This is Tyler Brodsky, the father that was traveling with his two little girls. Like, I'm talking toddler-aged girls. And on their travel trip, they decided to stop at Quick Trip, and his children needed to use the bathroom, as anybody does on a car ride, a long car ride, duh. So he, as a father of two little girls, decided to take his children to the women's restroom. He knocked on the door, he announced himself, and made sure that there was no woman in the restroom before he entered with his children. And while his children were washing their hands, hi guys, editing Danielle here. I got this wrong. It's actually way worse. He came into the bathroom while those girls were still in the stall. Yeah. In comes a completely different man, a stranger to them, yelling at Tyler, berating him to the point that his little girls are sobbing in tears. And obviously, I censor children on my page, duh, and I think everyone should. But I wish that you could see these girls' faces. As a mother, it sickens me that an adult would put a child through this, a child who is clearly safe. He is berating this father, as well as calling the police on him because he has his little girls in the women's restroom, where little girls belong.
I'm standing in the doorway of the ladies' bathroom. Okay? My wife, there is a man with his two little girls using the women's bathroom.
Duh. Where do you want him to go? Into the men's bathroom? As a man, you want these little girls to go to the men's bathroom? Because that's all I hear when I see any adult make a stink about a dad taking his daughters to the women's bathroom. That is all I hear, is I want you to take those little girls around a bunch of men who have their junk out at eye level with a toddler, a small little girl. Same thing like whenever women take their little boys into the bathroom and people make a big stink about it, like, oh my God, there's a boy, it's a child. You want that little boy to go be around a bunch of grown men, go into a bathroom, possibly by himself? With a bunch of grown men, once again, with their junk out at eye level.
Wash your hands, baby. He is. He's washing his hands with his daughters right now. He is leaving it.
It's all right, baby.
She is waiting to use the restroom with her mother, who is very ill
Wash your hands.
and who is on oxygen.
It's okay. Some men are just immature.
He handled this so well. But before I go into how well he handled it, as a mom of little girls, my heart is absolutely crushed watching this. Watching this little girl be so scared. She is terrified. She literally is using both hands to cover up her mouth and like stifle her sobbing. She's turning her head into her dad's body, trying to cover herself. She is so scared. And what is making me so mad, outside of everything else, is if you look closely, this man is only staring at this little girl. He has such a problem with the dad, but he's not looking at the dad. He's not worried about the dad. He is sending dagger eyes at this toddler. You know what she thinks? She thinks she is in trouble. She thinks she did something really bad. And that's confusing because all she did is go to the restroom with her father. And now there is a random, big, scary man standing in the doorway, staring at only her, yelling about how it's taking too long to wash hands and how they shouldn't be there. What a tiny little man. Acting all macho, trying to be like a hero, walking into this bathroom to berate this father and call the police on him. Mind you, you can only look at a child. You can't even look this man in the face. But this dad is handling this so well. He is being calm. He is going not slow. He's going a normal pace. He's making sure that he's not rushing because he's allowed to be there. He wants his daughters to know that just because somebody is making you feel small does not mean that you have to hurry up and get done what you're doing so that they can come do what they want to do. And did you hear what he said to his sobbing toddler when he picked her up to help her finish washing her hands? He said, "It's okay, baby. Some men are just immature." Now, although she may not understand those words and the power that comes with them, I do believe that she will remember that feeling forever. That in a moment where this man is losing his mind and what she perceives on her, her father was able to remind her that this isn't your fault. This is all his fault. He has problems, not you. Now, does that take away the fear in the moment, the confusion in the moment? No, but I do think that that will stick with her. Dad was calm. Dad kept me safe, and Dad reassured me that none of this was my fault.
And he's refusing. He's taking his sweet time.
I have 2 girls washing their hands.
You let this lady, this woman is she's a woman. She can bring her daughters in here. She's a manager of the QT.
I'm there.
Okay, did you catch that? Well, let this lady do it. She's a mom. You're assuming all women are mothers? There is the first problem. Just because someone is a woman does not mean she is a mom or should be a mom or should have children. Holy cow, this goes back to the 90% diaper changing table rule thing, whatever. It is men like this that keep diaper changing tables out of men's restrooms, and then they're throwing a fit that a man is taking his daughters into a woman's restrooms. Like, what if one of these kids was in a diaper? You want him to change a diaper on the floor in the men's restroom? You're crazy. And then to assume that just because someone's a woman, an older woman, she has to have had kids. You're literally insane. Also, so insane to suggest that the better option was he trust a complete stranger. I don't care if it's a woman. Now, God bless Miss Melissa. She is the attendant here, the manager here. We will get to her in a minute. I am not accusing her of being weird at all. Okay, she was an absolute angel in this situation. But what I am saying is you don't know. You're telling me that you're really telling me, dude, as a father, I'm assuming he's a father because he has 2 other women with him and he like referred to the younger one or the older one as the other one's mother. So I'm making assumptions too. Okay. You started it. I'm going to make assumptions too. As a father, you're telling me that you really would have, or maybe have, just sent your daughter alone with a random stranger into the bathroom to let that random stranger help them use the bathroom. Mind you, these are toddler-aged children. They can't go to the bathroom on their own. They do need assistance in the stall. You are suggesting that the better option would have been this father left both of his daughters alone with a stranger, nude, in a bathroom stall where they need assistance with things like wiping. We're not talking about just washing hands here. We're talking about actually using the bathroom. And the better option is trusting a complete stranger with your child. That's what you're suggesting because your presumably daughter and wife or whatever the relationship is here, these 2 women you're with, they can't freaking be patient for maybe 2 more minutes, or I'm sorry, 3 minutes. This video is 3 minutes long. They couldn't have waited 3 minutes, which by the way, they had to wait anyway. Teach your family some patience. Oh my God, I cannot believe that anyone would suggest a child be left alone with a stranger to use the bathroom than to just have a dad go into the women's restroom, minding his own business, already being uncomfortable in there anyway, because he knows that that makes other women uncomfortable, even if other women can see that there's children there. You know, as a woman, like if I've never had this happen, but if I walked into a bathroom and there was a man there with his children, it would be startling at first because the first thing I'm going to see is a man. But when I saw the little girls, I'd be like, oh, okay. You know, I still like wouldn't love it. Like, I don't want to be peeing when I know that there's a random man right there listening, but like, I understand. I don't feel in danger. It's just uncomfortable. Like, deal with it, dude. Deal with it. There is no way I would ever send my son alone into a men's bathroom. Like, if I had sons, they would be coming with me to the women's bathroom until they are old enough that I feel confident that they can stand on their own feet and be able to yell, scream, fight, like blah, blah. There are so many things that could go wrong whenever you send a young child into a room full of strangers they don't know in vulnerable situations, like having to undress partially. And for, like, that's crazy. Whether it's a little boy being sent into the men's room by himself or a little girl being trusted with a random stranger just because she's a woman. You are absolutely out of your mind and clearly so selfish that all you care about is the comfort of you and your family, that you don't care if children are put in danger.
Business, we got into the women's bathroom.
They're girls. They go to the women's bathroom.
As soon as he leaves the women's bathroom, I will. I'm standing in the doorway. He's taking his whole sweet time. Hey, sweetheart.
And there is Melissa. And did you hear him? I am going to stand in the doorway of the bathroom and he's taking his sweet time. Like, I'm honestly sick of men. I really am. I really am. Like, why do you feel entitled? You don't want him in the women's bathroom, but you're going to stand there and watch these little girls, literally only the little girls. You're going to stand there and hold your ground because what are you doing? You can see that he's just washing hands and he's going to leave. Why do you need to monitor and supervise this in the women's bathroom? Sir, you're also now in the women's bathroom, except without cause. You don't have little girls that you're helping wash their hands. You're not in there with your wife or grandma or whatever it is, helping her use the bathroom because she's in a wheelchair and she has health issues. That would also be a little bit shocking, but also still understandable. But no, none of that is the case here. You just feel entitled to stand in the women's restroom because you want to feel bigger. You want to feel like you did something, and you're not. And by the way, this did not end well for him. But the Quick Trip employee who is reaching over and pulling down napkins for that little girl to be able to dry her hands, that is Melissa. And she is an absolute angel. Watch what she does the moment she gets a chance to slam this door shut.
This is ridiculous, man.
I am so sorry.
Absolutely amazing of her. Did you see how quick her face changed? Oh, she is angry. As soon as he gave her opportunity, like she was watching, she was waiting. And if you notice, she had her hand on the door the whole time. As soon as she had opportunity, it is slamming that door in that guy's face and leaning on it to make sure he cannot come back in. And did you hear what he said as she did that? Oh, this is ridiculous, ma'am. What's ridiculous is you as a man feel entitled to stand in a women's restroom and monitor a father with two little girls. That's ridiculous. That is scary. That is insane. And I know a lot of people might try to say something along the lines of like, well, she could have like closed it so much sooner, blah, blah, blah. Like, why did she allow this to continue happening? That is a big man. She is a woman. I don't blame her for not being comfortable with just like trying to shove this man out of the way and try to get the door closed or anything, because you don't know what he might do back. You don't know how he might retaliate. He's already really angered and feeling very entitled to do what he feels like he needs to do to, I don't even know. I don't even know what his goal here is. So I don't blame her for not taking that chance and trying to shut a big man out of a bathroom when he is blockading the doorway. But I think it is so incredible how as soon as she got the opportunity, she took it. And not only did she close the door, she leaned against it to make sure that he couldn't get back in, which says a lot about his behavior, that she felt like she even had to do that. And not only that, she's helping with the girl. She's taking down paper towels. And when she's looking at them, she is looking at them with such gentle, caring, loving eyes. She looks safe and she is helping them.
It's okay. Some men are just immature.
Take your breath. Right here, bro.
You dry your hands? All right, come on.
You notice as soon as that man was no longer allowed back into the bathroom, how much more relaxed and calm the girls got. The danger was gone. And once again, they don't understand why there was danger there in the first place. They're probably feeling really confused about what I did wrong. And then Melissa saying, I am so sorry. Like, I feel like I can really see heartbreak in her eyes. I really do feel like she is deeply, deeply sorry that this happened, not only to him, but especially those little girls. The way she just keeps her eyes on them with such care, with such concern, she is helping them. And then once this father leaves the bathroom, it unfortunately does not end there.
One more here.
Got a cross on the front and the gray shirt.
This
You
guy
can video
trying to
me,
kick
okay?
me.
And you got a
Don't put your
shirt
hands
on.
on me.
Yeah, well, stop videoing me.
Hey,
then.
Whoa. See? Unpredictable, entitled. Someone made you mad so you can put your hands on them. I don't care if he just tugged his shirt or shoved him back a little bit. That's like, to me, an indicator that you're willing to do more when you feel like you're entitled to. Which goes back to like why I'm like, I don't blame Melissa for not like trying to shove him out of the door or like even yelling at him and telling him to leave, because honestly, she probably knows that that's just going to escalate this situation. And the goal here is to keep the girls feeling as safe as possible.
Just put his hands on me.
I touched
operator.
you. I brushed you on the shirt.
That's still touching.
Yeah,
me.
that's
Don't put your
ridiculous.
hands on me.
That's ridiculous.
I got it on video.
What is ridiculous, sir, is standing in a girl's bathroom, staring at a little girl sobbing at you because you are scaring her, because you feel entitled to tell this family to get out of the bathroom or let this stranger help your child wipe. You're saying it's ridiculous that he is saying it's wrong of you to brush his shirt, to touch him. Yeah, it is. You don't touch other people's bodies, sir. You don't. You keep your hands to yourself. This is stuff I teach my children. And you're like, older. I'm not going to say old because I'm going to be his age one day and I would be upset if a 20-year-old called me old. But yeah, you're seasoned. You're well mature. You're well past being told to keep your hands to yourself, especially when you're mad.
He's a white man. He's about 5'10".
Tell him to get here soon.
I know. She's trying to get into the women's bathroom and she can't. He's out now. He's standing
Yeah, this
here
guy making a
videoing
big
me.
deal about me taking my.
I'm sorry, she can't use the bathroom. He's not in there anymore. This was never about them being able to use the bathroom. Not at all. Because if it was, as soon as they left, sure, he can stay on the police, but why is the other woman that maybe it's his wife? I don't know. I know I said daughter. I don't know. I think it's probably his wife because I saw her in the background and she did not look young enough to be a daughter. But definitely plenty of time now for your wife / daughter, whatever it is, to push grandma into the bathroom and let her go to the bathroom. Like at this point, you're not only punishing these little girls, you're punishing grandma. Like now these little girls are uncomfortable and now you're leaving this woman who has health problems in a wheelchair needing to use the bathroom because you're on a power trip and want to be right so bad. She can use a bathroom. You are just preventing a disabled person from using the bathroom.
Justifying what he's been
To the
doing.
woman's restroom. Because he wants me to take them to the men's restroom.
I'm just standing here.
Probably a weirdo that wants to see them in there. Are they coming down here? Do I need to stay down here?
Police are
Or
on the way, yes.
do I need to speak to them?
No, you can come and talk to them right here.
Because I'm on a road trip trying to get home.
We're on a road trip too, and I couldn't get in the bathroom.
We're on a road trip too, and I couldn't get in the bathroom. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. I understand completely as a woman, if I walked into, once again, a restroom and I immediately saw a man, that would be jarring. But any sensible and safe person, and by the way, the majority of people, that's not just my opinion, it is true. The majority of people agree that it's okay for a man to be in the woman's restroom when they are helping their little girls go to the bathroom. It's very rare that people see a problem with it, and now we are seeing people have a problem with it. How selfish of you. Why did you need to get the police involved? Why are you sitting there still keeping this disabled woman from going to the bathroom because you'd rather sit in the middle of Quick Trip and throw a fit and then sit there and talk at the end of the video? Well, I couldn't get in. Yes, you could. You still can. You're choosing not to. What miserable people. To suggest that it would have been more logical for these little girls to have been in the men's restroom or be left alone with a complete stranger is absolutely insane. You do not know everyone. And the people, like the people I'm alluding to, if you're picking up on what I'm putting down, they're opportunistic. And you don't know what they look like. They're really nice. One of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror is Shut Up and Dance. And I can't remember the actor's like actual name, but he was also in End of the World, okay? He played James there. I really like him as an actor. I don't know anything about him, so I might regret saying this because it has like a laundry list of absolutely awful, horrible things that he has done. Then I take that back, okay? But I really like his acting in End of the World as well as in Shut Up and Dance on Black Mirror. That episode, I suggest everybody watch so that you can understand that people like this look normal. They can act normal. They have siblings, they have chores at home, they have a mom, they have a job. And there's this one particular scene in Shut Up and Dance towards the beginning where I'm just going to call him James because that was his name in End of the World and I can't remember I don't know, okay? But we're going to call him James, okay? Where James is working at his restaurant and there's a table with like a little girl and a mom and the little girl like dropped, I think it was like her paper or her crayon or something. And he just walked over, he bent down and he picked it up and he's like, here you go, and smiled at her. And she's like, thanks. And then just walks away. And before you know everything at the end of the episode, you're thinking like, at least me, I was thinking to myself like, oh, that was nice of him, you know, like to make sure that she got it. Like that was nice. I would do the same thing, you know, but no, he was doing other things online and having other thoughts about interactions like that aren't innocent. You don't know what these people look like. Why would you take the chance? And to suggest that someone should shows a lot about you. And actually, speaking about James, I just had another memory from the show End of the World. I don't remember what episode or season or whatever this was, but it was when Alyssa and James were like on the run or something, and they stopped at a gas station or a restaurant. I can't remember what it was, but James went into the men's restroom. Now, mind you, he is a teenager. Think if this is happening to a teenage boy, how much more easy for a predator to be able to do this to a little boy who's in a bathroom with no adult, okay? They're using the urinal and this other man reaches over and A's James, and James is frozen. Imagine a little boy. Imagine a little girl. This stuff is serious. It's going to the bathroom. It's a parent taking their child to the bathroom. What is the big deal? The fact that people would rather put children at risk than lose a bit of their own comfort is something that will never, ever make sense to me.
After we left the restroom, you know, obviously he was on the phone with the police. They ended up showing up very quickly. About 3 officers showed up. They got there within 5 minutes tops, and very professional, very nice. Quickly de-escalated the situation. You know, one of the officers was talking to me and the man and explained that the situation wasn't as black and white as many people may think. And they pointed out that taking 2 little girls into the men's restroom could be viewed just as negatively as me being in the women's restroom with my girls.
And you know what? That's definitely really true. Like, it's a lose-lose situation, I guess, for dads, because if you take your daughters into the women's restroom, there is that risk that you could be in a situation like this, which is terrifying. It is stressful. What if this had ended badly? What if the police agreed that he shouldn't have done that? Because sometimes police can be having those days and having opinions that don't align with the law, but they'll try to bend them to make them align with the law, and everything will get worked out in court. Okay, that's a court issue. I'm making my judgment now, and that whatever gets said and done at the end is a court issue. Like, what if that ended badly? That's a scary reality for fathers. And then the same thing, if he had taken those little girls to the men's restroom, let's forget about the actual dangers and everything for a second. We can put that on the side. We've already covered that. But that could be viewed as he's being neglectful. Maybe he doesn't care about the safety of his kids. Like, it's a lose-lose situation. So what is the solution? Number one, people just stopping being mad at fathers taking their little girls to the women's restroom. Hello, what's the other option? Oh, there comes solution two, maybe having more family bathrooms. And I mean, like, not even like the ones that we see in like some Walmarts and stuff, where it's like just a room with like a toilet and a sink and a changing table. I mean, like, family bathrooms. We need family bathrooms that have like a little bench, that have your sink. We need them to have a step stool, the changing table, obviously, but also like one singular stall. Because as a mom, I don't want all of us packed into one bathroom, and I can't, for some of my kids, just leave them in there alone. But I also don't want to take their siblings in because now there's no privacy. That is the solution. Like, why not use all of your anger to push for that instead? To contact your city or companies or whoever is handling bathroom business, contact them and say, look, I don't like seeing little girls going into the men's bathroom, or I don't like seeing men in the women's bathroom with their little girls. I understand that they're just using the bathroom, but I'm still really uncomfortable. The solution is family bathrooms, family bathrooms that are actually functional for the whole family to be able to be in the bathroom. That is the solution. I don't understand why that has not been implemented already. Again, probably because as a society, we are still treating women as if we are the only ones who ever take care of the children, and men never do. So once again, it comes back to the whole, well, assuming the mom probably has the kids, it's no big deal.
But ultimately there was really nothing that they could do. They did let me know that I was okay, that I didn't do anything wrong. They were very reassuring. I also want to give a huge shout out to Melissa, the Quick Trip store manager there, that stepped in and helped. We really do appreciate your support and your the care that you showed us. My girls, me being in that situation with them, really needed that, and it's always good to have somebody in your corner willing to show some support. When everything was happening, Melissa stepped in immediately. She checked on my girls, helped calm the situation down, and made sure that we were okay. As a dad, seeing someone show that kind of kindness to my daughters in a stressful moment meant a lot. So, huge shout out to Melissa.
Everyone needs to be like a Melissa. Everyone. And I hope Quick Trip gives her the biggest raise ever, because that was completely outside of her scope of practice. It's not the right job line to use that, but you know what I'm saying. That was not in her job description at all, to have to barricade a women's restroom from a giant angry man yelling at little girls. And she did. She did that. She held that door closed, and then she went above and beyond by making those little girls feel safe with the kindness in her voice, the kindness in her eyes, getting at eye level with them, getting down with them to the same level as them, getting them the paper towels. That's incredible. Saying sorry to the father, showing those little girls, although she wasn't saying sorry to the little girls, saying sorry to dad, showed those little girls like even another adult thinks this is wrong. So this man works for this business, or should I say worked for this business, Overstreet Properties, who handles real estate, leasing, construction. And they made this post 2 days ago that says, Overstreet Properties is aware of videos circulating on social media depicting conduct by a former independent contractor during a personal trip that was unrelated to our company. The conduct depicted in the video does not reflect the values of Overstreet Properties or the standards we expect of those who represent our organization. Our focus remains on providing quality service to our clients, partners, and community. The individual depicted in this video is no longer associated with Overstreet Properties. He was fired. Imagine how probably some of the fathers in this company, because I can only assume at least one man here has a child, right? But that's probably on the low side. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least someone has to be a father that's a man involved in everything with this company. How do you think that made them feel to see their coworker or employee or their boss treating a girl dad like that? Treating a dad like that just because he took his kids to the bathroom, into the women's bathroom, because they are little girls. And the women's bathroom is where little girls should be and little boys should also be. I found this post on Facebook and it was posted a day ago. And I feel like it just really condenses this whole parent-child bathroom situation really, really well. And I wish everybody could just adopt this mindset because it would make, you know, as a parent going to the bathroom in public a lot less stressful, especially when it comes to dads and little girls. And then, you know, sometimes moms with little boys. There are sometimes people have a problem with that sometimes, believe it or not. But it says if a dad needs to take his daughter to the restroom, the woman's restroom is exactly where they should go. Knock on the door, announce yourself. Girl, dad coming in with my daughter. Give anyone a chance to exit if they're uncomfortable. Then take in your child. A little girl shouldn't have to walk into a men's restroom because adults are worried about what strangers might think. The goal isn't to make everyone comfortable. The goal is to keep your child safe. And that child goes where the parent can safely supervise them. Hope that helps. And this little picture thing at the bottom is just the cherry on top. Common sense bathroom guide. Dads with daughters, women's restroom. Moms with daughters, women's restroom. Dads with sons, men's restrooms. Mothers with sons, women's restrooms. Yes, actually, can we have every place of business anywhere that there is a public restroom? Can we actually mandate that that exact picture is printed off and put on the sign right next to this place is monitored by security 24/7, just really big, just so that there's no confusion at all. Okay, can we just do that so that men like this don't get the opportunity to go berate a dad? Because how are you going to do that after there is a sign right there that actually says, actually, we agree that this is socially acceptable? Like, can we do that to just avoid all of this? Actually, can we just have family bathrooms? And then even the actual family bathroom, still, there is no stall. There's no place for the other kids to like sit and wait their turn. There is no stool to be able to sit up and be able to have a child independently wash their hands. Like there are no options for families to use the restroom in public. It's like a lot of like, here, damn, here's your family restroom. Here's one big stall. Here's one changing table. And here is one measly hook to try to hang your heavy diaper bag on. And good luck containing your kids. You know, I will give, there is this one store. I can't remember what it was. It might have been Walmart like a long time ago. This was before I had kids. This has stuck with me because I was like, huh, that is genius. I was using the bathroom and I was admittedly using the big stall, but nobody else was in there, okay? Although I have stopped doing this. This was when I was a teenager when this happened. I have stopped doing this since I learned years ago that even if nobody is in the handicap stall, that doesn't mean that somebody who is handicapped might not come in while you're using it. And so I've stopped doing that. And if you do that, you should too. Not because I think you're a bad person, because you may just not know or have thought of that. But anyway, this was before that, okay? And I'm using the bathroom and I look over and I'm like, what the heck is that? It looked like a tiny changing table, but like close to the ground. So after I was done using the bathroom, I went to go investigate and I pulled it down. Seriously, they had a seat mounted to the wall with like a harness. So I guess you can just like harness your child to the wall while you use the bathroom, or one of the children while the other. It was funny to me. But at least that was something. At least they were thinking a little bit further ahead, because even as a parent, when I have to use the bathroom, now I'm stuck on a toilet monitoring children, trying to make sure that they're not being wild, touching things that they shouldn't, crawling underneath of the stalls to run away. Like, it's wild. Being a parent, it's wild. It's hard. It's stressful. It's difficult because kids are learning boundaries. And it feels like a lot of places of business make that extra hard. Like, honestly. Family bathrooms, or even in the women's bathroom, just like adding an additional like family section in the women's bathroom. And hey, even the men's bathroom, you know, but still you shouldn't take your daughters into the men's bathroom ever. But just the idea of like, this is a dream to me as a mom. Please, somebody listening, can you make this happen? Because it'll help dads avoid this, because I really honestly feel bad for dads like so much, because it is a lose-lose opportunity. But can somebody please, who is listening to this, design an actual family bathroom and pitch it to whoever you need to pitch it to and make lots of money off of it, please, because it would benefit me and so many other people. Okay, what I am envisioning in my head is like a larger room than the standard family size. And again, I understand you have to take into consideration like store sizes and stuff like that, but please hear me out, okay? Because somebody who's smarter than me could make it work. All right, a larger room, you have one large stall in it, kind of like a handicap stall. And then like some benches, like enough benches for like, you gotta assume there's some families out there who have like 9 kids plus 9. Okay. So a lot of, good, decent seating. All right. I'm not saying like have a whole church pews lined up in there, but like decent seating. Please put stools in, or like have the sink be some sort of contraption where you can step on something like a stool, like folds out the front. And then have in the stall enough hooks to actually hold diaper bags or like anything else you might have on you, and a changing table. Wow, is that really so much to ask? Because then the other children have, well, the child going to the bathroom has complete privacy, which is something we need to be teaching children, that not only do they deserve, they need, but the other kids have a place to sit down. They have expectations that are reasonable. They know there's a seat, I need to sit, more so than standing in a giant open room that is a bathroom. Like I feel like it's not too much to ask. I really don't feel like that is too much to ask, but that's essentially all I have for you guys today. I am really interested and curious to see if that man or his wife or mother-in-law, whatever, if any of them will ever come online and like make some sort of statement, like apologizing or doubling down, or if they're just going to be like those people that just try to disappear and act like this never even happened, because either they're really embarrassed or they genuinely see absolutely nothing wrong with what they did in their choices. It's so annoying. But to wrap all of this up, Tyler, I am so, so sorry this happened to you. And to all fathers out there in general, I am so sorry that this is something that you have to face. This is a reality that you have to face, that, if you take your little girls into the men's bathroom, you're gonna be looked at weird. But then, even if you really want to take them to the women's restroom, especially after what's happened here and this going so viral, I can see that maybe a lot of dads are going to be even more cautious and concerned about taking their children to the women's bathroom. But dads, please don't stop taking your daughters to the little girls' restroom. Please don't stop taking your daughters to the women's restroom. And moms, bring your little boys to the women's restroom. Until you know that you can trust them to go alone to the men's restroom, please bring them into the women's restroom. I would not be upset. I would not feel weird, nothing, to see a little boy in the women's restroom with his mom watching. I would be like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it completely. Don't stop bringing your little girls and your little boys to the women's restroom. That is statistically where they will be safest. And please, do not ever let any stranger take your child to the bathroom just because you feel like it's inappropriate for you to be in that bathroom. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I am very interested to see your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Have you ever seen a man in the women's bathroom with his daughters? And how did that make you feel? Are you one of those people who got like really annoyed and think that that's wrong? Or are you like me and you're just like, a man? Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Same thing. Like if you have seen a little boy in the women's restroom, were you angry about that? Why were you angry about that? I just think it's a really good conversation to have, because I don't feel like we should be angry at parents keeping their children as safe as they can. And I also don't think it's reasonable to like be like, I'm assuming this man has nefarious intentions and is just using his daughters to get into the women's restroom. Like, I don't think that that's fair, that that's some people's first assumptions. Like, he's washing their hands. He's helping them go to the bathroom. Okay, but yeah, for real, that's all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys on the next one.